Something is happening in your life right now, and you don't even realize it. Right now, as you hear these words, there are shifts unfolding in the unseen realm around you. There are doors closing that were never meant for you. Other doors, ones you thought were lost forever, are being quietly prepared. And yet, in the natural, all you might feel is confusion, delay, or pressure. But this is not random. This is not failure. And it is definitely not abandonment. There is a reason. Certain battles have intensified. A reason certain people have walked away. A reason why what used to work for you suddenly doesn't. It feels like resistance, but in reality, it is redirection. And if you are one of the chosen ones, you've been here before, standing at the edge of something you cannot fully explain, sensing that your life is being pulled into a different direction. But here's what most people miss. When your life is about to shift into God's plan, it often feels like everything is falling apart. First, not because you are being destroyed, but because you are being separated. Separated from distractions. Separated from false connections. Separated from what could not travel with you into your next season. And that separation can feel like dangers. It can feel like loss. It can feel like you are under attack. But spiritually, something very different is happening. Heaven does not always announce protection with peace. At first, sometimes it begins with disruption, because what God is saving you from, you may not even recognize yet. There are moments when God's protection doesn't look like comfort. It looks like removal. And if you've been feeling like you're losing control, like things are slipping out of your hands, like nothing is stable anymore, it may not be destruction at all. It may be divine intervention, because, chosen one, you were never meant to stay where you were. And everything that is shaking right now is not the end of your story. It is the beginning of your rescue. But the truth is, not everyone can see it. Not everyone can understand it. And that's why this message finds you now, at this exact moment. Because something is trying to get your attention before the shift fully arrives. A warning, wrapped in mercy. And if you are still listening, it's because something inside you already knows. This is not just another message. There is a reason. Your attention has been pulled here at this exact moment in your life. The timing is not random, and neither are the feelings you've been ignoring. That constant sense that something is changing, that heaviness mixed with hope, that quiet knowing that your life cannot continue the same way it has been. It is not imagination. You are standing in a transition that most people walk through blindly. Some will call it coincidence, others will call it stress or overthinking. But when you are chosen, even confusion carries meaning. Even silence carries instruction. Even delays carry direction. And this is why you cannot afford to dismiss what is happening around you, because what looks like chaos is often the very pathway God uses to realign your steps. Every setback, every unexpected ending, every door that shut without explanation, it is all building towards something you would not have chosen for yourself, but something that has already been chosen for you. The question is not whether change is coming. The question is whether you are paying attention while it does. What you're about to hear could change everything you thought you knew. You've been feeling like something is watching over your life. And you're right. For a long time, you thought it was just your imagination, that strange sense of awareness when things were about to go wrong, or the quiet feeling that something unseen stepped in at the last second. Doors that should have closed on you didn't. Situations that could have destroyed you somehow lost their power before they reached you, and deep inside, you've always known this is not random. And deep down, you can't explain it, but you feel like you've been set apart for something. You don't fully understand yet. That distance you feel isn't rejection. It's preparation. But here's what is important to understand. When God sets his hand on someone's life, they don't always feel safe in the way the world defines safety. Instead, they start to feel different, misunderstood, even isolated. People drift away without explanation. Conversations don't land the same anymore. You start questioning yourself, wondering if something is wrong with you. But what if the truth is the opposite? What if you are not losing people, but being separated from what cannot go where you are going? Chosen ones often carry a strange burden, clarity in the middle of confusion. While others seem comfortable in distraction, you feel everything more deeply. You notice what others ignore. You sense what others dismiss. And that awareness can feel heavy, almost like a warning signal. You can't turn off. It's not anxiety. It's discernment, a spiritual sensitivity that makes your path feel both guided and guarded at the same time. And sometimes, this sensitivity makes you feel alone, even in a crowd, because you are perceiving what others are spiritually asleep to. It can feel overwhelming, but it is also a sign you are being led with precision, and that's where the enemy tries to confuse you. He wants you to think your isolation is punishment, that your delays are rejection, that your silence means abandonment. But what if heaven has been protecting you in ways you don't recognize yet? What if the things you begged God for were delayed because they would have broken you in a season you were not ready for? Sometimes protection doesn't shout. It redirects quietly. It removes quietly. It shields you without explanation. And even when you don't understand why, certain prayers were answered with silence. It's because some answers would have pulled you off course, rather than placed you on it. God's protection is not always comfortable, but it is always intentional, even when it disrupts your expectations. So when you feel that pressure, that strange mix of unease and knowing, don't dismiss it, because it may not be fear speaking. It may be guidance, the unseen hand of God steering you away from what could harm you, even if it hurts in the moment. You are not walking alone, even when it feels like everyone has left. There is a divine order unfolding in your life that is far bigger than what you can currently see. And the more you resist the urge to quit, the more you will start to see that what felt like isolation was actually alignment in progress. You were not being forgotten. You were being guided through a path that only becomes clear when you look back. But what you're feeling is only the beginning. There is a danger in your life that is invisible, but real. And the most unsettling part is that it doesn't always look like danger at first. It often looks like delay, like sudden resistance, like everything you touch requiring more effort than it should. You try to move forward, but something keeps pushing back. You try to focus, but distractions multiply. You try to stay consistent, but unseen pressure seems to drain your energy in ways you cannot fully explain. For chosen ones, this is not unusual. In fact, it is almost a pattern. The closer you move toward alignment with your purpose, the stronger the resistance becomes. It's as if your life carries a kind of weight that others don't notice, but you feel it constantly, and the reason is simple. Anything that carries purpose also carries opposition. But this opposition is not always visible. It doesn't always come in obvious forms. Sometimes it comes through confusion that lingers too long. Sometimes it comes through opportunities that fall apart right before completion. Sometimes it comes through relationships that suddenly turn cold without explanation. And sometimes it comes through your own mind. Thoughts that make you doubt what you already know deep inside. This is why so many chosen ones feel like they are in a constant inner battle. Not because they are weak, but because they are sensitive to direction. You are not just living life. You are processing it on a deeper level. You don't just experience events, you interpret meaning behind them. And that awareness makes you more aware of resistance too. But here is, most people never understand. Resistance is not always a sign you are going the wrong way. Often, it is proof that what you are carrying matters. Because when a life has no direction, it rarely experiences opposition. But when a life begins to align with purpose, everything that is not aligned starts to react. And that reaction can feel overwhelming. It can feel like setbacks are multiplying, like distractions are strategically placed, like every time you rebuild momentum, something tries to break your focus again. It can even feel personal at times, as if life itself is testing your endurance. But what you are actually experiencing is pressure before breakthrough, a tightening before expansion, a final attempt to pull you away from what you are stepping into. Because there are seasons in life where your growth becomes undeniable. And in those seasons, resistance intensifies, not to destroy you, but to distract you. And yet, chosen one, you are still here. Still pushing forward, still sensing that, despite everything, something within you refuses to give up. That inner resistance you feel against quitting is not random either. It is part of what keeps you anchored when everything else tries to pull you off course. You were never meant to move through life without opposition. You were meant to learn how to move through it with awareness, because what is targeting your focus is also revealing your strength. And what is trying to delay your progress is also revealing how close you are to a turning point. There is a reason you have not been fully stopped, a reason things have not completely fallen apart, even when they came close, a reason you are still standing in the middle of uncertainty, with a strange sense that your story is not finished yet. That reason is not coincidence, it is preservation. Because even in the unseen battles you cannot fully describe, something higher has been holding you together when circumstances tried to pull you apart. And that is why not everything that resisted you has succeeded against you. And this is exactly why God is stepping in. But God has already started working behind the scenes for you, even when you could not see it, even when Nothing in your circumstances made sense. Even when it felt like everything was paused, delayed, or falling apart at the same time, something greater has been unfolding quietly, without noise, without warning, without needing your permission or awareness, because divine work does not always announce itself in real time. Sometimes it looks like silence. Sometimes it looks like doors not opening. Sometimes it looks like opportunities slipping away at the last moment, even when you were sure they were meant for you. And in those moments, it is easy to assume you are being denied. But what if you were actually being diverted away from something that would have led you into struggle instead of destiny? Chosen one. Not every closed door is rejection. Some doors close because what was on the other side was not built for your survival in that season. You may never fully understand what you were protected from until much later, and often, by the time you realize it, you will also realize how precise the timing of your life has been all along. There are moments where danger is not loud. It does not always announce itself. Sometimes it exists in what you almost walked into, what you almost trusted, what almost became your path, and the only reason it didn't is not because you were lucky, but because something unseen redirected you at the exact right moment. This is where divine timing becomes real in ways the human mind struggles to grasp, because timing is not just about when things happen. It is also about when things are prevented. And prevention is often the most overlooked form of protection. You may have thought you were stuck. You may have questioned why things took so long to change, why answers were delayed, why clarity did not come sooner. But what if the delay itself was what saved you from walking into something your future self would not have survived intact? What if the waiting was not punishment, but shielding? There are paths you were never meant to take, even if they looked right at the time. There are connections that were never meant to last, even if they felt meaningful. And there are opportunities that were never meant to succeed, even if they seemed perfect on the surface. And in God's protection, sometimes the most loving thing is not giving you what you asked for immediately, but protecting you from what you could not yet see. Because God sees what you cannot. He sees the outcome before the beginning. He sees the hidden consequences behind choices that feel harmless in the moment. And while you are focused on what is delayed, He is focused on what is being preserved. So when your life feels paused, it is not empty, it is being arranged. When things don't move forward, it is not abandonment. It is alignment in progress. And when everything feels uncertain, it does not mean you are lost. It means you are being led without visibility. So you don't walk ahead of your protection. There is a kind of rescue that happens without dramatic signs. No loud warnings, no obvious interventions. Just quiet redirection after quiet redirection, until you realize one day that nothing truly meant for your destruction ever fully reached you. And even now, as you listen, there are things you will only understand later, moments you thought were setbacks that will eventually reveal themselves as saved time. Delays that will later make sense as divine interruptions, and closed doors that will one day feel like answered prayers in disguise. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. You are not out of timing. You are being carried through a process that is far more intentional than it appears. And even when you feel uncertain, the direction of your life has not been abandoned for a single moment, because what is ahead of you is not random. It is prepared, and what has been protecting you so far is not finished yet. What God is about to do will not be ordinary. This is your moment of awareness. Don't ignore it, because something inside you already knows. This is not just another message. It is not just words. It is a reminder of what your spirit has been trying to tell you in silence. That even in your confusion, even in your waiting, even in the moments you felt unseen, you were never truly alone. There is a reason. Certain parts of your life did not break, even when they should have. A reason certain endings were softer than they could have been. A reason you are still here, still standing, still moving forward, even after everything that tried to slow you down. And that reason is not coincidence. It is care, it is guidance, it is protection that does not always announce itself, but always shows up exactly when it is needed. You may not have realized it at the time, but you have been carried through more than you can see. Moments where you thought you were on your own were actually moments where unseen protection surrounded you. Situations where you felt abandoned were actually moments where you were being redirected. And seasons where you felt stuck were often seasons where something dangerous was being kept out of your path while your foundation was being strengthened. Quietly, chosen one, your life has not been random. Not your delays, not your detours, not even your disappointments. Every piece of it has been forming something deeper, something stronger, something that will make sense when you finally look back and understand how precise every save truly was. There are things you were never meant to carry forever, burdens that were only temporary, lessons that were only meant to shape you, not define you, and even pain that had a purpose you could not see in the moment. Nothing about your journey has been wasted, even if it felt that way at times, especially if it felt that way at times, because God does not build without intention, and He does not guide without purpose. Even when the process feels unclear, the destination has already been accounted for. You are not wandering. You are being directed. You are not forgotten. You are being watched over, and you are not breaking. You are being prepared. There is a strength forming in you that only comes through pressure. A clarity forming in you that only comes through confusion. A faith forming in you that only comes through waiting. And what feels like delay is often just divine timing unfolding in a way your present self cannot yet fully understand. So don't let the noise around you convince you that you are behind. Don't let uncertainty make you doubt what has already been set in motion for your life. And don't let temporary silence make you forget the permanent truth. That your path is still guided, still covered, still held together by something greater than what you can see. You were chosen for a reason, not because you are perfect, but because you are being shaped with purpose. And everything you have walked through has been part of that shaping. Even now, as you listen, there is a quiet reassurance being placed back into your spirit. The reminder that you are not alone in any of this. So take this moment seriously. Let it settle in you. You are protected, you are guided, and you are not forgotten. Comment Amen if you believe this message is for you. Subscribe to stay connected to more messages like this, and like this video if it spoke to your spirit, even in a small way, because this is not the end of your story. It is only the confirmation that you are still in it. You were never alone, and you never will be.